Recording in progress.
Okay, there it goes. All right, here we are. This is Wednesday, October 15th, 2025 at 6 p.m. We're here in council chambers at City Hall, 300 Forest Avenue in the city of Pacific Grove, California. This is the regular meeting, and I'm calling the meeting to order at such time. Um, I will note that all council members are present except with the exception of Councilmember Rao. And so we will proceed with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I will recognize my colleague, Councilmember Garfield, to lead us. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And now I'll entertain a motion on item 1, approval of the agenda.
Entertain a motion to first on that.
Okay, we got a first from Emilio. Second from Paduri. Any discussion on the agenda? And before we do that, do we have a staff presentation before we
presentation, Mr. Mayor, but thank you real quick. We do have 2 items tonight that staff was requesting to pull.
Okay.
The first item would be 11B on purchasing system and procedures ordinance. We'll bring that back at a future date. And then the other item is item 15 under closed session. We no longer need that item.
Okay, thank you very much. So, Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Emilio, would your motion be amended to pull item 15A?
Yes.
And 11B?
Yes.
15A and 11B.
Yes.
Catch that? All right, and we have a seconder.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. So we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, passes 601. Thank you very much. We'll now proceed with that agenda as modified. We'll go through presentations. There are none tonight. We'll move on to council and staff announcements. I'll recognize council members for announcements, and I will look first to the Mayor Pro Tem here.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to refer to the city, League of California Cities we attended in Long Beach, and they had quite a few we were able to network with a lot of city councilmen and mayors from all over the state of California, which was good. And many I saw who I knew. And they also had seminars in regards to reducing the loss in the general plan and other areas they had covered also at Long Beach. But a couple of things I did notice. I mean, it was a great conference, but I noticed near our hotel that on Long Beach, there was a skateboard park. In Sandra, could you bring that up? It was pretty impressive. This is 150 by 150 feet. While she's bringing that up, I also found out that Hollister and Scotts Valley and Marina, Sand City's going to start one. Salinas has one, doing the second one. These are, let's see, she's going to bring them up. Yes, this is a 50 feet by 100 and actually 149 feet, 50 feet wide, and it had different people on it. Quite impressive. Could I have the next slide, please?
Yeah, Mayor, this is Brian. I need
Yes.
to interrupt for a minute. The announcements here with regard to the league conference, certainly that's within the scope here. But this is an item that's being presented or discussed at least that's not on the agenda. So my advice would be if there's going to be any further discussion on skate parks, it'd be added to a future agenda.
This was just I saw while at Long Beach, this area. That's why I brought it up. That's all.
Understood.
you want to comment any further on that? Okay. Thank you very much for the report. We'll go to Councilmember Garfield for this.
Thank you. Just some additional information about the conference that, in addition to the one that Councilmember Emilio talked about, reducing the cost and burden of general plan updates was really practical information on how to get a successful update of a general plan without breaking the bank or driving anyone crazy. In addition, we got a lot, all of us got a lot out of things like the small cities meeting where we met with people who also were governing cities of less than 35,000. Although I will say that Sand City took the cake with 350 people. They get the small city award. There was another one on how cities can communicate. And it was several cities that had created a community calendar using a software called WIF. And they found it to be extraordinarily successful. It allowed all events like what's happening with the library, what's libraries programming, what the chamber's doing, what different groups are doing, what's happening at the schools, all in one spot. And it felt like it really created some community cohesion as well. And talked about how to make council meetings go better. We had lunch with the Monterey Bay elected, so we got to meet our colleagues and sit down and break bread with them. And you find out that folks everywhere have the same issues, and we're all working on solutions. It was good to hear from them. So I think anybody here who has an opportunity to go to one of those meetings should do it, and I think this was a really good one.
Thank you very much. Councilman Paveri.
I'll just add on that I was there at the event too. It was in Long Beach. As with every other conference, this was also well attended. A lot of sessions to play with. The thing that I particularly noted in this conference, as opposed to other conferences, is that it's certainly in with the times. Meaning AI is a big topic, kind of central theme. But also, this conference had topics on immigration, items that are really what is happening right now in the U.S. today. And there were a lot of people attending these sessions to understand what a city needs to do from a public citizenry perspective when it comes to immigration matters and what is happening in the United States. So I found that useful. I think overall, over 2 days, the conference was well attended. And the final comment is we did make a decision as a council board to vote on certain items at the end of the conference. But that voting session was entirely canceled because there was no agenda. So thank you.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to vote unfortunately, but I was ready. But I'm gonna be submitting my comments in a report next meeting. Any further council? Okay, staff announcements.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do have a couple tonight. The first one is regrettably, we have to, let the council does this, but the community as well know that through long, hard discussions, we were not able to come to a place with the Point Pinos Grill where they felt they could remain. So they've chosen to give their notice and they will be leaving close to the end of November here. We do not want to see that building sit empty, obviously, and we want to get a just equally as good restaurant in there. So we're going to release the RFP early next week. So that will be open for additional vendors to submit on. So we'll most likely leave that open for at least 30 days, possibly 45 days. We'll look at the calendar with the holidays and stuff, how it all lands. Other thing, just to let the public and the council know, on the 13th of November, the Planning Commission is going to be considering the housing element. The reason this is really significant is because the City Council will be seeing this on December 3rd. And this has been a long road, as everybody knows, to get to this point, and we're really at the finish line. So anybody who feels like they want to get the information again about the housing element, the Planning Commission would be a great meeting to attend, to listen and to learn more about it. There's some street projects. I'm not going to call up staff tonight to talk about all these things because we want to get moving, but there are some street projects that are underway. So as you're driving around, look out for paving. We got a sidewalk project that's kicking off also along Senex and Congress, all the way down the lighthouse. The fall recreation programs are kicked off. So if you have a some children who would like to participate in our sports programs, look for what's going on there. And the last thing is next Monday, the 20th, is the annual city training day, we call it. So it's one day when all the staff can come together and focus on trainings that apply to everybody. It's like one big team building day. So for that day, City Hall will be closed. So just to let everybody know ahead of time.
Thank you very much. Anything further? All right.
Yeah,
Mr.
Mayor, I
Perry,
have-
do you have any reports?
Yes, I could make an announcement. We did have a closed session earlier this afternoon, and there's no reportable action in connection with that. And I should also add that for any future closed session items you may have on the subject of appointment of the city attorney, I won't, since I won't be attending those, if there's any announcements that should come out of those closed sessions, it'll need to be made by somebody else. That's all I have.
Understood. We'll go ahead and move to, appreciate it. Thank you very much, Mr. Pierre. We'll go ahead and move to item 4, general public comment, dealing with matters subject to the jurisdiction of the city and the council that are not on tonight's agenda. So I'm seeing a few people in chambers and one hand online. So we'll go ahead and take public comment online.
Thank you, Mayor. Telephone number ending in 902. You have the floor.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. From November 11th to November 16th, the Monterey Bay Aquarium will do topological mapping of the flanks and floor of the Monterey Canyon using extremely high decibel sonar equipment. I've spoken to the City Council and the public before on this harmful practice of the Monterey Bay Aquarium and the effects on ocean creatures. As any beginning biologist or first-year biology student knows, the sides and edges of ecosystems are the most rich in wildlife. In this case, the flanks of the canyon provide niches for fish and many species with the flow of nutrients from the depths of the canyon. In addition, the floor will have special species that can live at those depths. Blasting these areas with extremely high decibel sonar will destroy these ecosystems and species. In previous surveys, MBARI was blasting at Saturn V rocket levels, 191 to 221 decibels. 150 decibels is known to be lethal. The levels they were blasting are 10,000 times or more higher than known lethal levels. The new David Packard equipment is 237 decibels, approximately 15 to 1,000 times more powerful than their previous equipment, if that can be imagined. It will tear apart creatures in the ocean, shred them by decibel level and resonance. The aquarium is doing all this damage and harm simply for topological mapping. They'll be doing it for 6 days from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., 9 hours each day. The Monterey Bay Aquarium's harmful, harmful actions are increasing. This is one of several I know of. MBARI is trying to hide behind its showpiece on Cannery Row and the money it brings to local businesses, but how long can that last? Who will come to Pacific Grove and the Monterey Peninsula if the aquarium becomes known for its deplorable animal practices and its actions against the ocean that are killing it? And what price can we put on the health, well-being, and future of the oceans and its creatures? The California State Lands Commission has details and the aquarium's permit application, A4564. It has a map of where they're blasting. I requested the City Council, the Chamber of Commerce, and the public protest the aquarium's actions and use their influence to stop it before this incomparable ecosystem is destroyed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I want to thank the city for pulling item 15 and also for pulling the skate park report for now. It affirms for me that Pacific Grove in these instances appears to be in compliance with the Brown Act, which I appreciate. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Haynes.
Carol Marquardt.
Thank you. One issue that I hear every time I go to the Point Pinos Grill is that they're closing on November 21st. And I'd like to hear more from the city council as to why this is happening. I don't have any of the inside information. So I hope I can find more information about why the PG Golf Course, the grill is closing on November 21st. Thank you.
Thank you.
No further hands, Mayor.
All right, go ahead and close public comment, general public comment, come back to the consent agenda, dealing with routine and non-controversial matters. Does anyone online or in chambers wish to pull any items on consent? Council members wish to pull any items? Okay, seeing none, go ahead and entertain a motion.
So moved.
Thank you. Second. A motion by Paduri, second by Emilio. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll take a voice vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, passes unanimously. Thank you very much. We'll move on to the regular agenda. This is item 11A, public hearing. And I'll have Mr. Mogensen present. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As the staff report somewhat indicates, I believe, we are the last of the fire stations within the Monterey system to receive an emergency alerting system within the building itself upgrade that is needed. So at this point, we know in our CIP, we had budgeted $100,000 for this upgrade this year. And again, this will just standardize this with all the other fire stations within the system. And the idea is to be able to react quickly to emergency calls when they come in for make sure that the firefighters get those messages quickly. So the contractor who doing the work for us decided that it's been too long on the original quote. So they felt like they needed to make some adjustments due to tariffs, raising wage rates and other things. So they gave us a new update of quote, and that quote ended up being, higher. So we're here tonight to ask for a budget amendment to the original project. And again, that original amount was $100,000. And this new amount is a little over, I believe, $142,000. We do have money in our fire structure fund, I believe it's called, that would cover this, so it will not have an impact to the general fund. We do have fire department employees here with us tonight, with the assistant chief, who can help speak to this if we need to. However, I will say in the end that this is one of those things that it does have life safety implications, and we really should go forward most likely, but. Go ahead and deliberate.
Is that your report?
That's my report.
Just one clarifying question for the public. In the Monterey, they are already going this direction, correct?
That's correct. They've already installed it in all our stations.
And we share the department.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. We'll go to public comment on this item. This is item 11A. Ordinance amendment. Ms. Doimer.
Thank you. I did write you a letter, and it's like, why can't, if this station was different and needed extra things, unfortunately, the city manager did not read his full report. He didn't read it. He just gave a kind of a synopsis, and he left out that this should have been included in the other. It's just that they didn't assess it the right way, and it's a different configuration. So sure, we're going to end up having to do it, but prior planning and thorough planning ends up saving money in the end, not afterthoughts and reassessments. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
No further hands, Mayor.
Okay, we'll go ahead and bring it back to the council for action. Close public comment on this item. I will say there's not a lot to really discuss if we want to be on par with our sister fire department. Our fire department. So unfortunate rises in costs. They're coming up a lot lately. And so we're just hope that we'll be ready to be prepared to deal with it. And in this case, we are. Yes, Councilmember Garfield.
It's nice that we've got a fund that has some money in it, but Fund 12 is what you said had the sufficient funds to cover this overage. And my question is what's Fund 12? And what won't be done if we use up some of it? And if you can give me the sort of the future of Fund 12.
Well, that's a great question, Councilmember. So Fund 12 is a set aside just for the facilities of the fire department for upgrades and for just ongoing maintenance every year. The way that is replenished, I would be almost certain is through certain fees that come in either over the years through the fire department or over the years that the council has budgeted money for projects that did not get done. Perhaps we had grants. I'm not entirely sure, and I don't see our finance director here to help me if he knows any further about where this fund came from originally, but it's one that it doesn't have like ongoing revenues into it. So I'm sure we would have to replenish it at some point.
But it's not like it was earmarked for something else that we won't get to do because you're taking things out of the fund.
No,
Okay,
that's correct.
thank you.
And I'll entertain a motion at this point if anybody wants to make one.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve
Okay,
the
I need to
request.
know-
for the attorney to read.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Parakees requesting the title.
Okay. The title of this ordinance is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Pacific Grove, amending the operating and capital projects budget for fiscal year 2025-26. And you can just make a motion now to take action on the remaining items.
I'll go ahead and take action on the remaining items 2, 3, and 4.
Thank you very much. We have a motion to approve 2, 3, and 4 recommendations. Do I have a second? A second by Pagani. Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Emilio. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a voice vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you very much, members of the Monterey Fire, for being here tonight. Appreciate it. And we will move right along to 12A, I think. Oh, 11B is out. Sorry, I'm just kind of slogging through here. We're 13A. Okay, this is a discussion on the allocation of available potable water. Item 13A, and I'll recognize CDD Director John Biggs.
Thank you very much, Mayor Smith, members of the City Council. We have a discussion for you this evening regarding water allocations. This is actually one of the City Council's priorities, to take a look at our current allocations and then give us some direction on future allocations. And this, again, is just a discussion this evening. We are looking for council direction, and once we get that direction, we will come back to you with some resolutions for you to adopt to formalize the direction that we receive. This kind of restates what I just said. We're seeking some information from the City Council on the allocations. We're also looking to ask the council whether or not we should increase the discount on the water that is the city water right now from 30%, which is the current discount, to a new number. The recommendation by staff is 60%. Just provide some background information. There are two principal sources of water that we are discussing this evening. There is the Pure Water Monterey Groundwater Replenishment Project. I'll just refer to it quickly as Pure Water Monterey. And that's the project where the water will be coming online within the next couple of months. And then we have the Local Water Project, which we refer to as entitlement water. For the pure water allocation, the Monterey Peninsula Water Management District has indicated that the city will receive an allocation of 32 acre feet, and that again will be available pretty soon, and it will depend on the receipt of the operating permits for the project that they have completed. And then we have the entitlement water, the city water, and there's a little over 19 acre feet available there, and that's the original 47 acre feet minus an 11.5 acre feet that was set aside for the affordable housing projects, and then minus the water that we have sold already. So all in total, we have a little over 52 acre feet that is available for allocation. For the entitlement water, the fee with this 30% discount, as it's reflected in our fee study or fee schedule, is $183,000 per acre foot, and a tenth of that is $18,357, which will be quite a bit more than the water cost for the water that will be available through the Pure Water program. What I put up on the slide right now is staff's recommendations for the allocation of water, and we've recommended allocations among a variety of categories. Starting with the first allocation, the pure water, which is the 32 acre feet again. For residential, we've separated out between regular residential or market rate residential and affordable housing residential. We're recommending 0 acre feet of that pure water be assigned to market rate housing, 23 acre feet be assigned to affordable housing. And this is an incentive to see that affordable housing gets built. And I will just note that as I mentioned in the agenda report, That's not anywhere near enough water to accommodate the arena that we've been assigned of a little over 1,100 housing units. But we expect that that 23 acre feet of water will accommodate around 200 affordable units, and we would expect that those affordable units would be deed restricted. For commercial, we're recommending 6 acre feet. And then for municipal, local water projects sponsored by the City of Pacific Grove, we're recommending 3 acre feet. And we aren't recommending anything in that pool of water for an unallocated reserve. Then on to the entitlement water, the city water. For residential, we're recommending 15 acre feet. And then we're recommending 4.25 acre feet for the unallocated reserve. And that totals 19.255 acre feet. So again, what we're seeking direction from the City Council on this evening is whether or not you agree with our recommendations for the allocation of the water, and whether or not you would like to see an increase in the reduction or the discount to the entitlement water from 30% to 60%. And again, this is to encourage development in the city in terms of achieving affordable housing units. Plus, it's also looked at as an economic incentive, reducing the cost of the city water down to a lower number, not really in competition with the pure water that's going to be available, but certainly less than what we have on the books right now. Will it encourage development in the commercial realm? Will existing businesses be able to do improvements to those businesses, or property owners that have existing buildings? Will they be able to do improvements to the buildings to entice or enhance the facility so that others can look favorably towards coming to Pacific Grove to kind of enhance our economic development outlook and increase our tax revenues? So that's kind of the basis why we were looking at that reduction. Again, I'll mention that following your feedback this evening, we'll come back to the City Council with a resolution that memorializes your feedback to us this evening, and we will go from there and be able to guide projects and allocate water into the future as projects come forward. That's the end of my presentation, and I'm happy to answer questions the council has.
Thank you very much. Go ahead and go out to the public for comment on this item. I have one hand in the audience or in the online audience.
Inga Lawrence-Domer.
Thank you. This local water project has been sold to us in so many different ways, and all it has done is cost us taxpayers more money. Every year, it's never operated even breaking even. It operates at a deficit, and now you want to discount water even more so that we have no hope of ever recovering anything? Well, okay. I mean, I guess it's just a complete write-off from when a previous city attorney, David Laredo, was touting this as, oh, it's going to generate us 6.5 million. And and what a shock it was when the state water board, when it first got completed, said, and they'd given us most of the money, said, oh, it has to go back to the river. That's what this is for, is to ease up the overdraft of the Carmel River. So this local water project has just gone through so many different iterations, and all of these problems were brought up for all these years from 2014, 15 and on, of what was going to happen down the road. And here it is in spades. And I mean, that you use to do the groundbreaking. Yes. Anyway, it's just an abhorrent thing. And frankly, I think that the housing should just get first benefit of any free water that's going to be coming in, period. It needs it. And if we're going to do the housing things, Pacific Grove is a city of homes. Yes, we have businesses, but we're not in the business of creating businesses and keeping them afloat, other than our patronage. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Lisa Gianni.
Thank you. I'd just like to understand, as far as the ATC project, which the last I heard still does not have its coastal commission permit. But whether the water for that project is going to come out of this commercial 6 acre feet per year, or if it's already been set aside, or what the situation is on that. Thank you.
No further hands, Mayor.
Thank you very much. All right, we'll bring it back to the council for discussion. I think just to frame up the discussion, I think there were just a couple of things on the chart. Mr. Biggs, please help me if I'm not right on target on this, but it's looking like you're wanting a recommendation of the pure water Monterey water. And then are we going to change what we're currently doing with the local water project water?
That's correct. I can go and show you the chart up on the screen that kind of breaks it down into the pure water allocations, what we recommended at the staff level in that first column. And then the second component of that is the entitlement water and what we're recommending there for council consideration.
And so the numbers won't change as far as the total. So like the total, just so I had to ask about this. That's why I'm saying it for the benefit of all of us. But the 32 acre feet, that's what we're going to get from pure water.
That is correct.
And then the 19.2551 is what we have.
That's correct.
Okay, got it.
So
All right.
we're allocating amongst that.
So given all that, your comments. Oh, yes, Mr. Mogensen, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. If I could I think I'll take 30 seconds to maybe address a couple of things we heard in public comments.
Okay.
First one is, this allocation discussion tonight is really not about the water project that we have. That project is, we've been working with the golf course. You'll be seeing a new lease contract soon. That the goal was to make us whole when it comes to water at the golf course and to pay off the debt for that facility. So that really is a separate thing.
Yeah.
What we're faced with today is the fact that we're getting a bunch of free water. How should that water be allocated? Should it be allocated to things that are bigger purpose for the city at this point, and we retain the water still that we can sell under entitlement water, and receive as much funds as we can out of that to help again buoy some of the costs that were brought up, or do we not want to? That's part of the discussion. The other part about the ATC. So the ATC, I was not here during the full planning of it, but I do know that there was no water credits or demands needed for the ATC. They had enough water on site already for that project.
Thank you very much. That's a good clarification on the first item. The first item in that, this is just, we're allocating it. We're not talking about the red and the black on the project itself tonight. It's not agendized. So I'll take comment on Councilman Garfield.
Thank you. I'm particularly interested if we have any inkling of what the pent up demand is on the commercial side or on the residential side of people wanting water but not yet buying it. To know if we lower the price, will we get more buyers?
That's a good question. We don't really, right now, when people need water for a project, they're able to buy it from our entitlement water. So there really isn't a pent up demand. However, with free water becoming available, we expect that we might get more applications for that water, especially if it's going to be allocated to an affordable housing project. All of a sudden, the cost for developing that project is going down because they're not buying the city's entitlement water. So we haven't heard anyone knock on the door and say, oh, this entitlement water or this pure water is becoming available, and when is it going to be ready, and when can we submit our application? So not a lot of interest right now, but I think once the water, the permits, the operating permits are issued, I think more people will realize that, well, this is a done deal. The water is available. Let's do what we can to get our project.
One of the reasons I ask is that it doesn't do us any good to have vacant spaces downtown. It's not good for anybody to have a building lying fallow. So if there are water constraints for revitalizing some of our old banks, a question for you is, how much water does it take to put in a kitchen, to make a space that was a bank into a restaurant?
It varies because the bank use is based on there's a factor on this based on the square footage, where a restaurant is based on the number of seats in the restaurant. So it's going to depend a little bit on how many seats someone brings forward in developing a restaurant. But with the water becoming available through the Pure Water project, there's certainly going to be less initial investment needed to get that water and be able to do something like that.
Is it like a half an acre foot? Is it a tenth of an acre foot? Is it 3 acre?
It's like 0.0007 for per square foot, and for seat.
Nitty gritty, but it's like that makes a difference in how we allocate. Is how many can we get out of that 6 acre feet?
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For a restaurant, it's 0.038 per seat. So a low water demand for a bank use or a retail use, a little higher water demand for a restaurant use.
Okay.
And let me just jump in. So another question that I want to put out for all of us to think about is, the idea of, aside from assigning the categories, which I think I'm pretty much okay with staff's rec on these things, but maybe we could, play with that a little bit. But I'm definitely okay with the entitlement water, because we're still selling that water to people, and I'm signing the entitlements on a weekly basis, that 15 acre feet, still signing those, and people are they're still moving. So on that question, just kind of bifurcate this out a little bit. And I agree. I think there's a reason to have some reserve unallocated, keep some reserve on hand of our own water. So as we're selling these and we're actively selling them, there was a question on here of whether we should discount further. Can you speak to how you came up with 60% as a different number than 30 than we're at?
Yes. I think right around there's forgive me if I misstate the term, but there's something called a water fee calculation at the Water Management District. And when the calculation is done, the water that you pay for their water and this Pure One water coming forward would be in the range of $36,000. Even with a 60% discount, that drops our price down to a little over $100,000. So we were trying to make it in the range of more affordable. It's still not affordable compared to what they'd be able to get through the Pure Water project, but we thought at least this is a starting point for discussion, and maybe people knowing that there's an opportunity for this discount, and maybe it's for the short term, or maybe we say it should be for areas like our downtown or Forest Hill. That might be an incentive to get people to come forward and act on acquiring that water.
Okay. It is pretty complex. I think I'm definitely in favor of a discount, because when we get that water coming in from Pure Water, it's going to cost a lot to buy our water, basically. So anyone have any thoughts? I'm pretty much in line with the staff recommendation, but Mayor Pro Tem?
Yeah, I am also aligned with the water allocation, which you generated, but I just to reiterate the mayor's question about 30 to 60%, and you kind of explained it, Mr. Biggs, that when we buy water, we can either get it for 60% off. Is it what you're saying?
Yes, the city water that we have for sale, I think in our fee schedule, it's right around $236,000 per acre foot. So it would be a 60% discount on that to not make it super competitive with the water from Pure Water, but make it more competitive with that water.
I see. And then, am I correct on I'm just going to bring up ADU units. If someone wishes to place an ADU unit, do we still split the water meter? If I remember right, if someone wants to put an ADU unit behind their house, they split that water meter to to get to the other unit.
That's correct. Right now they are having to buy the city's water for their ADU because it's a demand for additional water.
Uh-huh.
And then they're able to kind of sub-meter the water from the main to the ADU unit. So they're able to do that. The difficulty comes in if they want to install a brand new meter on a vacant site, or if they were, let's say, had a lot that could be subdivided and the ADU would have to have its own separate meter. That wouldn't be permitted based on the rules at the Water Management District and the CalAm.
Yeah, I know this isn't, well, dealing with the water. I'm just wondering if someone wants to put an ADU unit behind their house, they split the water meter. If it's let's say a 600 square foot ADU unit, do you know about approximately that might cost the person?
I think it would probably, just
Ballpark
doing some
figure?
quick calculations at the back of my head for the pure water, it would probably be in the range of maybe $10,000 by the time they pay for the water, plus they pay for the permitting costs through the Water Management District. So in that neighborhood, versus buying the city water, that would be, probably 3 times that amount for an ADU.
I want to hear if anybody else has anything to say. I'm okay.
But you're good with the staff and the
Yeah,
60%?
yes. I
Okay.
am.
Lori?
You. Yeah, I think I appreciate what you've done to do the breakdown so that there's the bigger discounts for the affordable housing, because it's going to be very important for us starting to work towards achieving our RENA goals to have water available. And one of the biggest challenges with the affordable housing is, of course, being able to pencil out the cost of doing that. And I think this will make that much more viable for us to actually have some projects occur. For a similar reason, I think the same is true for the ADUs. If it can be very cost prohibitive for somebody to build an ADU for renting it out if they know what it's going to cost, not only for all the materials to build it, but then to have the water in support of it. So anything that you're recommending that would support the things that help us achieve our goals, which are also requirements from the state, I think that definitely benefits us. Regarding the percentage, I know on the surface it sounds like, why do we want to give our water away cheaper? But the reality is going to be that as the water becomes cheaper from Pure Water Monterey, it's going to be harder for people to be able to justify spending a higher rate with us. So I think it does make sense to reduce it so it's not sitting there unused, and incentivize people maybe proceeding with a project that they've been holding off on because of additional costs in all areas of the market. So if it allows us to better utilize the water we do have available and make some money off of that in ways that benefit the community, because while we definitely need to support our housing, there is also a benefit that comes from not having vacant buildings that could be bringing in revenue for the city to then help us further support other projects. So I think that it's definitely kind of a reciprocal loop that we support the homes, and also by supporting the businesses, that is in an integral way, supporting the people in those homes as well. So I think that the recommendations are good, and I appreciate that we've left the affordable housing ones with most of the new water that will be coming free to really allow us to basically get started on our needs to get that done. So I appreciate you bringing this forward, and I would support the recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Walking Stick?
I had some questions. Thank you very much. Obviously, even with the discount, you can't compete with free. And I wouldn't want to even try and do that. But it looks like what we can do is limit the options of different individuals, which it looks like we've done. I'm trying to understand this right here, or to confirm with you. We are reserving the pure water credits for certain groups, activities, affordable housing, commercial, municipal. We are leaving out a reserve, and residential. So from what I understand, residential people, just current houses that are out there right now, would not be able to purchase these the pure water credits. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
And so residential would necessarily have to, if they're making purchases, they're purchasing through our entitlement water program.
That's correct.
Okay, so we could do that with any group.
True.
Okay. Just really thinking this all through before we do a vote. The 60% discount, if we go with that, that's not just on, is that on these remaining 15 acre feet? Or is that on everything that's been that is currently in process right now?
That would apply to that entitlement water, that entire 19.2551 acre feet.
With the 4 unallocated in reserve?
Yes,
Okay, and just that. Okay, all right, I'm good. Thank you very much.
you're very welcome.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing this forward. I think this is a timely discussion, as everybody pointed out. I did have some questions, and I think I may differ from whatever the council is thinking in some manner here. So first of all, I wanted to understand, it's just like a practical scenario. That if Pure Water Monterey is here, and we have our city entitlement water too, can we give priority to whoever is asking to say, buy this water or this water? Is that something that we can control? Is that legally possible?
If I could attempt, Councilmember, you're asking, is it legal for us to separate the water in these categories so that, say, residential has to buy the water versus other ones get access to the free?
Yes.
Although it's not free, you still buy it from Monterey One, or from the water district. So we did have a meeting with the staff at the Monterey Peninsula Water District, and they had no issue with us allocating water in this way if the council chooses to tonight.
So we can effectively, we are controlling which water anybody can purchase or procure, essentially through the city. That's what we're doing here.
Residential.
It's also commercial, right?
Right, but I'm sorry, can I just clarify?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, when you asked that, the way we did that is putting 0 on the pure water and 15 on the entitlement. I don't know if you,
Okay.
that's how we're controlling it.
Right. So, but effectively, we're controlling it. And the other thing that I noticed from the agenda item is, even with all this, like controlling everything to get put together, this is not going to serve the 120 plus acre feet of water that is required through RENA for the housing element and all the housing that we put together. It's still far low. So that's a point that I want to make. I mean, after everything put together. So also I wanted to clarify, this is truly existing waters, right? So there's no way somebody's going to get a new water meter. This is all, we're still talking about existing water meters only, correct?
This water would be available for use by sites within the city that currently have a water meter that need to add plumbing fixtures to their home, or if there's a change in business. If they need a new water meter to accommodate that, like a vacant lot, this water would not be available to them.
Okay, and the definition of how much water somebody can get is also, I mean, I would say definition, or how much water can somebody actually request for? There's a limit to it. You can, even if you have an existing water meter, somebody can just say, give me 1 acre feet of water. You're controlled by certain definitions, correct?
Yes, it's tied to, for commercial uses, it's tied to the type of use, and there's a variety of different factors. We use the example of a retail or a bank space where it's based on the square footage of the building versus a restaurant where it's based on there's a water factor per seat. For residential units, each type of plumbing fixture someone can have in their home is assigned what they call a fixture unit value. And we total up those fixture unit values, and that's the water that they get. They can't ask for, I'm going to be adding a bathroom and need, 5 fixture units, but give me an extra 7. That wouldn't be permitted. They're just getting the water that they need to have to accommodate the project that they want to finish.
Okay. I think the last one is just from a question standpoint is, so we can the restrictions, right? Like as you're detailed out, I just wanted to make sure that we can, as we move along, we can, can somebody from a commercial standpoint request that I want what has been allocated for entitlement water, and I also want something that is allocated from pure water. Can they mix and match here?
It's possible. I'm thinking that we may run into that scenario if we have a housing project that includes affordable units plus market rate units. The water for the affordable units would be coming from pure water, and then they would have to buy our entitlement water for the market rate units. So yes, it's possible that there could be a project that's drawing from both sources.
Okay. All right. So then my view has, I mean, it's not changed, and which is that, to be honest, I don't like to get into this discussion where we're saying commercial needs to have so much, residential needs to have so much. All that I need is like people to have water whenever they want it. That's really like fundamentally drawing the line, saying I want water, I need it. I think it's a fundamental right, typically, to get water. And the fact that we're discussing this and trying to allocate something here is somewhat like crazy, but it is what it is. So I did, to me, it appears that the 32 acre feet of water is something that they're holding good right now, but tomorrow it could be 60 acre feet of water. Tomorrow it could be 25 acre feet of water. I don't know what the future holds. It could be either way. It depends on a lot of things that can happen. Drought included, or a lot of rainfall. So with that being said, my view is that I personally don't like this exact categorization, say 23, 6, 5, etc. When I looked at in the past, when I examined the housing element, how the city has progressed, we've always not been able to meet the numbers which are very low income to moderate. Above moderate is always like an open-ended field, so we're always able to meet that number. But those three other categories we've never been able to meet. So my view is that within the arena, within those three buckets, we just allocate 60% of like pure water to those three buckets, and the 40% to everything else. And the reason for the percentage is if in the future this 32 changes for whatever reason, then we don't have to come back to the drawing board again to do whatever. And it's the same concept that you can apply to the entitlement water too, is residential 60% and like unallocated like 40%. That gives you some, I would say, some discretion to kind of like apply it to some use cases which probably all of us are not thinking about and which may present themselves in the future. But to be honest, I don't want to get into this like number discussion, but I am supportive of like a 30% to 60% because we do need to get rid of, in some sense, the entitlement water as soon as we can. So whatever we can do to get to that point. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Garfield.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm going to follow up on Councilmember Paduri's point about getting rid of the entitlement. Like, we're not going to sit on it. Let's not save it because it's not going to get easier to sell. So I'm wondering if we moved the reserve out of entitlement and put all 19 in residential and had the reserve under pure water by carving a little bit off of the ones that are there. So that reserve is then available for affordable housing should it be needed. I'm just wondering why we're reserving expensive water.
Let's just ask the question. Why did we pick that number?
We wanted to make sure that the council had some flexibility to address a situation that we haven't foreseen in the future, and having, and this is a recommendation, you can certainly change that amount around, but we thought that would be a good starting point for discussion purposes, and knowing that, that could accommodate, if you wanted to in the future, allocating that to affordable housing projects, that would, not, maybe 25 additional units or so, but
or whatever use that we can't foresee.
Right.
And we could set the price accordingly. We don't have to set the price now. suppose we wanted 20 additional units of affordable housing, we could use that reserve and match the price of the pure water so that we can incent affordable housing down the road
You
somewhere.
could do that, yes. You have that discretion.
Okay. But I just wanted to know why that was over there and why we were holding on to it. when
Right.
We should be getting rid of it.
It's fair.
Okay.
Councilmember, Mayor Pro Tem, sorry, I didn't see what you looked for.
The question is, okay, so we approve this, it sounds like it might happen. But if we come back, would you come back to us and say, oh, we actually need, residential units, we need more in the residential units? I mean, do you have to come back here, or will you be able to do that in-house?
Well, this is, these allocations would be adopted by council through resolution. And if there is a need in the future to adjust those, we would come back to council with a revised resolution to address whatever demand in the future is needed. So it's not like we would have to create an ordinance where we, do the introduction and the adoption and wait 30 days. This is a much more efficient process for making changes.
Okay, and then I was going to say, I'm trying to think of a memory I had in my first term. I thought we had, it was originally 30%, and then we were going to go to 60. And I'm just wondering if that 30 was an amendment or whatever. I don't know. I can't remember, but I remember us talking 30%.
Yeah, I think we just put a discount in to get the water moving.
Yeah. Okay.
Which has helped,
Mhm.
I would say.
Okay.
Because I've been signing them since I started. I know Bill Peak used to sign them. The water's moving. It's not super fast, but it is going.
Okay.
But I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
No, that's all I have. I'm gonna recognize
No,
Councilmember McDonald too.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Are
thank
are
you.
good?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
And that was actually going to be my point too. I think the advantage here is we're trying to find a solution with the anticipation of what they've told us they'll be allocating, which is the 32. So looking at what is the best way for us to allocate this initial run of it. But then my point was going to be too clarifying, because it's a resolution, when we have more water, we can come back and do a future resolution to decide how we want to allocate that. Maybe a percentage will make sense at that point too.
Right.
And so it seems like I would assume that this has been kind of based on maybe some needs you're seeing or past patterns, that this might be a good allocation to start with. And I really do appreciate that we have the large amount for the affordable housing, because that's going to be the hardest thing to get penciled out to actually getting us moving towards having a project. And so I really appreciate that this discussion and this resolution will actually help us to get moving in that direction.
Doing a motion on what I'm calling the staff plus 60 recommendation tonight. I'll entertain a motion. And my comment will be in endorsing that would be that it is important to this water policy allocation, or this water allocation policy is important to allocate the different needs that we feel or we are prioritizing as a council. And so the only way to do that is to separate the categories. And I think, staff's done as good of a job as any could do on it. I mean, it's fairly close to 60-40, if I can't, some back of the envelope math, but on the first one. And that number probably won't change much. They don't give out allocations freely like that without doing a lot of research and at the district and things like that. They're pretty exact. And we know ours. We know our number, 19.2551. So that's not changing either. So I think we just need to this is a starting point. So anyone want to make the motion? Otherwise, I'll make the motion, a staff plus 60 recommendation for a resolution. If that passes muster with the city attorney. I've got walking stick on.
Yeah, that is fine.
Okay, no, we're going to vote on, any further discussion on that? All right, we're going to vote on the staff plus 60 recommendation. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, passes unanimously, 601. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is 7 p.m. and we are at the close of our agenda tonight. I appreciate everyone coming out tonight. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being online and watching. And this meeting is adjourned.